Hi, Raeda. Welcome to Head to Heart Conversations.
Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Good, good. I thought it would be good to have a conversation with you about, your journey and also about the industry that you're in that's very different from what, you see women in normally. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your experience working in the PSX, which is perceived as a male-dominated sector. Is that a perception or is it true? And how are things changing?
Okay, a little bit about my journey. I started off with advertising and the creative side and liberal arts. And then I decided that I should do my MBA because that's hardcore. That's what I really want to do. Yes, it's good to study arts and all, but when we talk about practicality and results, I wanted that a grip on that side as well. So I did my MBA and I moved towards the business side. So marketing, yes, but with business and financial services marketing. When it came to numbers and finance, it wasn't one of my strong areas as a student because I was more inclined towards the arts. I did my master's in English. And with that, I said, no, I think it's a basic life skill. So I immersed myself. When I did my MBA, I immersed myself into the strategy report, everything in the capital market or the financial sector. Because I did not want to be.
How difficult was that? How difficult was that?
It was a little difficult, but honestly speaking, there's no rocket science. And when we women actually apply ourselves and decide that we want to learn, we will do it. So I think that is one ability of women, the resilience and the go-getter attitude that will take us places. So that helped. And then I went into the financial sector, banking, and I started reading. That helped me. The great thing is that today and in the last 10, 15 years, we see all this online availability of information. The first time I joined the financial sector was in a bank as a product manager for mortgages. And mortgages I had never studied, and in Pakistan it wasn't a trend. So I studied what the world is doing. And I had amazing case studies. And when I joined the Union Bank as a product manager mortgages, I introduced many new concepts. Pakistan, at that time, they were just vanilla mortgage options. I added various other interest-based, interest increasing, and then the State Bank took some measures, and that whole journey. So I always relied on the internet, on what the world is doing, because we are behind and the developed countries are much ahead, and they give us an outline. We get those concepts, we localize those concepts and adapt and adopt it, and we have a great product. So this is something I've always relied on. At Pakistan Stock Exchange, my journey initially, before joining, actually at the time of application, when the ad appeared in the newspaper, I was totally double-minded whether I should actually apply for it or not, because I'd worked in mutual funds, I'd worked in the financial sector, like investment banking, insurance, I'd worked in brokerage side as well as mutual funds and the banking also. So this was one area where I hadn't really had any exposure or worked in. So I called up a couple of people, some seniors, and I took their advice, and they said, go for it. People like yourself, the stock exchange, entities like the stock exchange need people like yourselves there. You could bring a lot of positive change, and there's a lot of work to be done. So that's some motivation for me. So I applied and I got in. As you said, there's this perception about the male dominance, because I think it's more when people talk about the stock market, the names that appear, AKD, RF Habib, KSB, all these are men who actually started the brokerage industry. And earlier on, they weren't women in the workforce. But over the years, their daughters, their granddaughters, their nieces, their daughter-in-laws, they've actually come forth and they have taken it up. So now, yes, the name is there, but there are research analysts, they are, in the management, there are females. At the stock exchange, you see females. There are traders. You walk into the stock exchange, you visit a few brokerage houses, and you see there are female traders also who are assisting clients. So I think that that thing has changed over the last 15 years, and we see more women. But just because of the name, I think that's one. The other perception for the broader public is because as women, we leave all these decisions, the serious financial decisions for the men. Yesterday also I was talking to some ladies and I said, why have you not bought an insurance policy yourself? Have you bought your own car ever? Have any of you bought a real estate or made a stocks portfolio? And like only 2 women talked about investment, and that too in mutual funds. So, from that perspective, I said, why? And on exploration, you realize that ye kaam aadmiyon ke hain. That's the response I generally get. I feel that actual empowerment of us as women, as individuals, will come when we take those decisions ourselves.
It can be in consultation
Exactly.
with whether it's brothers, fathers, husbands, whoever, but the decision needs to be ours, right?
Yes.
And if we hand it over to the men in our lives, then we cannot blame them for sort of taking those decisions because somebody has to. So I think it comes from both sides. Sometimes it's control on the part of the men, but very often it's because we just hand it over to them on a platter. And we need
because
to
it's
be more
difficult for us. We find it complex.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not even that. We just, in our minds, we have accepted that this is not part of what we do. We bring up the community, we'll bring up the family, we'll make sure the home is comfortable. And even if we work, it will be in things that we are passionate about. But this is like too complicated. Let's not even get into it.
Yeah, true.
So we need to get past that.
Yeah. So I think that is also one of the reasons that we've left all those kind of decisions. So it's considered, this is a male area. Although, yes, as you said, women are wired in a certain way. They're more nurturing, they're more protective, they're more, they have a different way of working, and men have a different, wiring, that they go out, they're hunters. So, yeah, that's why there's that difference of roles also. But having said that, I still feel that women must now at least go and push the boundaries and try and take those decisions. I mean, what's wrong in buying your own car and taking that decision with the help and assistance? Men also talk to other men and other people and take advice. Ki kaun si gaadi li jaye, kya hai, kiski kya mileage hai. But women don't know those jargons. Pakis is there. You read up a little and you know.
So tell me, also at the PSX, like yesterday we were hearing about the number of women at the PSX itself in management roles. And although the percentage is still something that you guys are working on, but heads of departments and leadership roles have been sort of given to women, and they're performing well, according to what Farooq also said yesterday at the event. So tell us a little bit about that, how that has grown, the number of women who are now working in leadership roles or at mid-management level within the PSX.
I think when I joined, there weren't as many women, even in the management side. But over the last 3 to 4 years, at the management level, there's about 40% of women, which is, I think, pretty decent in the sense that, just 10% before we actually are at equal. Other than that, I would say within the exchange also, what has happened is that hiring of women and supporting them through the mid levels. I mean, for a woman, the challenging time does not start when they step out of university or college. They step out, they join the workforce equally. And when you look at the management trainees being inducted, they're equal, or at times women are more out there. But when they start settling down and get married, it becomes very difficult for them to manage, and that's where the dropout ratio happens or takes place. At PSX, how the HR has managed to hold on to that lot and increase it to, I think, 17 or 18%, which is pretty decent again. I think in today's time, and considering that the stock exchange is based at the Chundrigar Road and it's considered a business area. In the regions also, we've added ladies and women, and we are very, I wouldn't say this, it's more the HR and the policies that are driven from the management level and the board also. So I think we're more accommodating when it comes to women. We're facilitating that critical time of their lives. We're facilitating them at that. So I think that is the reason that women are coming into the middle management, and then thereon they will be ready to take on the more leadership positions.
So tell me, how important is investor awareness for students, for SMEs, for women, own businesses? And is PSX doing anything to increase that awareness?
Yeah. Okay, how important? It's very important. I would say it's a basic life skill which should be taught at school, from school. It should be taught at the university level, colleges. So as you grow into your educational background, you should be learning more, the more complex instruments also. So when you begin at school, you should know about the banking, about the instruments within the banking offering, what are the difference between investment and savings, because abhi tak bahut sare concepts investment ke hote hain, but actually they're saving money. So it's there's a difference. You need to save, budget, and then invest that money to multiply it. So ye sare basic concepts at the school level hone chahiye till grade 12 or 10. Uske baad comes your college and university. That is where basic investment should actually practically start. Student accounts. Right. There are PSX has introduced a Sahulat account, which is for with low KYC, people who are not salaried, or women who don't have that kind of documentation to support, the KYC process. So the Sahulat account has been introduced for that particular reason, for the smaller investors, for the less documented ones, so you don't have too many disclosures and those kind of paperwork required. That is where students should begin, either mutual funds. They should start investing. Unless they go through that entire process of opening an account, putting in money, looking at their investment statements and see how the money is growing and the ability to redeem that money, that fear factor or the fear of the unknown will go away. And I think at the educational level, we must begin that. At the exchange, we started a national financial literacy program 3 years ago, which was had to be converted to a more virtual effort during COVID. Earlier on, 2018-19, we reached out to institutions, not just institutions. We went to the chambers of commerces. We went to the women chambers throughout Pakistan. So you talk about KP, we've already had sessions with women chambers in KP, associations of women, entrepreneurs. We also reached out to the listed companies, the corporates. Right. They don't have time to make their decisions. What they do, they go and opt for insurance policies, which are packaged as retirement plans or education plans for children, which is actually a coverage. Insurance is coverage. It's not an investment asset class. So because they don't have the time to go through all these asset classes. So we did sessions with them. The corporate sessions are slightly slower because people weren't coming to work, but we intend to restart that again because now we're out of the Corona thing. We're not really out, but hopefully, the work attendance is right. Yeah. We introduced a portfolio, a virtual portfolio, which is there on our website. We haven't heavily marketed it yet, but already there are more than 4,000 to 5,000 people who are actually, you create your virtual portfolio, you give yourself money, you follow your portfolio. I don't want to get into competition because that inculcates the trading mentality. I don't want people to buy, sell and make money and get into that trading thing. We want people to build portfolios, look at stocks. So what we've done is within this portfolio feature, It's an application. You create your account, you register yourself, you make a portfolio, you buy shares, you see the symbols. If you don't know the symbols, you look at the sectors, you get the real price of that day. You can actually go back and buy in a previous day also. If you've bought, you could add your account over there and see how much money you've actually made. We've put in the feature of the commission also. So when you buy, the commission is also deducted. So you know, a lot of times people trade without realizing that, okay, I've made 2 rupees here, but I've actually paid 1.5 rupee in commissions. So, you know, without realizing that impact, you think you've made money. But when you actually look at the money that falls into your bank account, you realize, oh my God, what happened? So we've done those kind of efforts. Other than that, we're running our blog. We have articles that we publish and then post, English as well as Urdu. We have animated tutorials on how to look. Being the stock exchange, we cannot actually go out and say buy this stock or you know, advise on a certain holding, but we can create that basic awareness, which as a category we're doing. How to choose your broker, how to open your account, what are the investor protection measures. Last week only there was an article we wrote for Business Recorder on investor protection. That same article will be featured now on our website in English and then on Urdu also. So we are building that whole this thing. We're going out to
and then the decision is up to the person who is buying the stocks or investing in them to decide, because now they possess the knowledge that they require to make that decision, right? So exactly. You're making it easier for them to understand.
They should also know what to expect out of their brokerage houses, what to demand. The broker has to do this thing for them by virtue of their offering. So they will know and they will demand. And on the other hand, we're actually facilitating our brokers. So on our website also in the broker section, we've put up a marketing roadmap for them, how they should expand their business and go out and open accounts. We hold sessions for brokerages, our brokerages, I had a session on digital marketing 2 months ago. I had a session for our brokers on how to develop your business. We get professionals to come and talk to our brokerages. So they are equipped to actually go out and market. So that these kind of activities we're doing, and inshallah we'll see, it's a gradual thing. I'm hoping it will convert into larger numbers of people and retail participation.
Yes, hopefully it will. Now, Raeda, you're also an educationist. You teach at various institutes, right? So do you think investor education needs to start at that level, at university level, so that young people start investing early on rather than only when they start working? Secondly, how is the education system contributing towards the misconceptions regarding the empowerment of women? So these are 2 different questions. I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
I think when it comes to education, yes, as I said earlier, also it is imperative that we include it. It's a life skill. So like the school teaches us various other things when we're there on how to behave, how to carry ourselves, they should also teach the basics, you know, needs, wants. We do study about needs and wants in the Maslow's hierarchy at MBA level, but we don't study about it at school level. It should be part of the curriculum. These days, the schools are adding green curriculum. So why not financial? Because that is part of empowerment of all individuals, and it's a life skill. So yes, very important, and they should start saving and investing. So with the banks offering young saver accounts, you should begin. I mean, parents also and the schools also, they should encourage children to open their bank accounts. They get ED, they get pocket monies. From that point, they should learn that they need to save 80% and spend 20% because they don't have any responsibilities. As they move, then they should be. So I think a proper a gradual growth on the kind of financial education should be there. And although we've actually reached to the Ministry of Education, it's been 2 years, we're following up with them. We've created a whole chapter to be included in grade 8 books, but somehow it's not going through. So we've constantly add their case कि please इस तरह की information आप schools के college level पे, inter level पे add करें. So let's see when we get through, and you know, it's an uphill task, I would say.
Yeah, anything new to include in a curriculum is an uphill battle because people think that, what we have, it's worked over the years, why should we change, right? But I think it is extremely important because just like we teach saving, in terms of, opening a bank account and making sure that you put some money in there, why not start with investment so that your money grows as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
no, that's a good. So the second question
Second
regarding,
question. Yes.
regarding
I think that's
education.
women education does not contribute to women empower women, a misconception, I would say. I think education helps women empowerment.
No, not education in itself. I'm talking about what happens at educational institutions. Education itself, of course, makes them more aware and all of that. But education institutions, is this propagated more at institutions itself, that there is one thing that women are good at and another thing that women are not good at?
Yes,
that
I
kind
think,
of.
that is a bit, because you see, women don't come to us the STEM subjects, they don't opt for it. A lot of times, Pakistan doesn't even have the student counseling concept. So in schools, there are no, as they come into the grade 9s and 10s and 11s, there's nobody to guide them on what their strengths are and what directions they want to take. I mean, why is it that an engineer is a male and a teacher is supposed to be a female? The teachers can be men as well as women engineers. But I think it's more like not just educational institutions, it's how our family structures are. Absolutely. How our society puts this in our DNA from, and brainwashes us accordingly from our younger age groups. So like when we were young, at times my brother would go out to play cricket, and I wasn't initially, I wouldn't be going because okay, the boys are playing, but my father would say, okay, nahi, tum nahi ja. My mother would say, nahi, kyun nahi, jaane do, let her play.
Good for her.
So,
right.
Day one, in fact, I would say for school also, we lived in Dubai. So I wanted to go to school. I was very young. My brother had started school. I hadn't started school, but I was jealous of him going to school. So one fine day, after every day, I would throw a tantrum as he left for school, the nursery or pre-nursery. One day, my mother said, "Acha musibat." She picked me up, made me ready, loaded me on the bus. And she didn't even give me a note, like a 2-year-old, 2.5. She said, you go there, you get off, you tell the teacher my mommy will come and get me admission at off time. And I actually said that. They put me in a class somewhere, I don't remember, but that put me out there. She threw me out she threw me at the deep end of the pool. So, I think these kind of activities, this helped me develop as a person, somebody bold who could actually step out and do things on my own. And these are things which us as mothers and fathers both should design, where our women know and have that inner strength to take decisions and evaluate themselves. What is it that you really want? Because a happy woman will lead to a happy family. So education system, definitely, but I would say it's more of how we as a family structure bring up our girls and boys too, because they should be more accommodating. They should be open to women out there. It should not be a novelty thing, oh ladki aa gayi wala cheez.
True.
It's a student. When we're in school, we're students. We're not a girl and a boy. We're equal. We're smart enough. In fact, we beat them a lot.
Yes, a lot of the time at educational institutions, definitely. And now even in professional life, you see a lot of women really. So you're a woman leader, and I think a lot of young women look up to you because you're young and you've achieved a great deal. Do you have any advice for women who are aspiring to be in leadership roles? Is there anything that you would like to say to them that will help them, fight this imposter syndrome that many of them have, that we cannot do it, or that it's something that women are not made to do? Any kind of advice that you'd like to give?
I think it's, first of all, we need to overcome our own set out boundaries and push them or remove those boundaries. Do not think that you're a woman, you think that I'm a professional. Know your subject very well, whatever you're doing. So whether it's finance, whether it's computers, tech, whatever, just get a grip of your subject. Push the boundaries, don't limit yourself, step out, have that level of confidence, believe in yourself. And that belief comes from knowing your subject. So, two things, they work together to give you that belief and confidence. I think number 3, don't try to emulate any male leaders. Leaders and managers are different. Understand the difference between leadership and management. Manager, anybody can be a manager, good or bad manager, but a leader is always a good leader generally. And, so try and look at the leaders, see the qualities. We have all, life stories, biographies to read and learn from. Inculcate the good habits, inculcate the positive things, and treat people with respect. I think once you learn to extend that respect, not only at the same level, at the junior level also. Be objective in your assessments of people, help them overcome their weaknesses, help them leverage their strengths. You can become a mentor even if you're not a leader, even if you're not a senior, at your own level, as a subordinate at the mid level. It's very tough for women to manage those 10 years of their life, from the day they get married till the time they have a child, which is independent, like a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old is independent. That is a very critical time. And that is when you need to network more, when you need to create a more stronger support system within your levels, as well as reach out to the seniors. I mean, there are a lot of male champions who would support. I have seen senior women today who, when I was at Union Bank or various other banks, the bosses would give them that off time to go feed the child, take a break, lunchtime. They would go, they were so driven, they would get out of the office 1 o'clock, be back at 2:30 because ya to bachon ko uthana hai, ya feed karna hai, ya change karna hai, set karna. It's very critical, but don't give up. Don't give up. This is where a lot of us women give up. Just keep going on. Time will pass. You'll go through it. So I think it's very important to have that resilience.
Very good advice, Raeda. Thank you so much for your time and also for all the input that you've given. I think it will be useful for a lot of people who are maybe going through the same sort of period in their lives, or some younger ones who are trying to get there and wondering if they will. So thank you so much, Raeda. Let's meet in person soon. But
Definitely.
in the meantime, good luck with what you're doing, and hopefully we can work together on certain things.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Bye, Raeda.
All right. Bye-bye.